Hey, welcome to this video. In this video, what I want to do is really show you some actual trades. I took these all on a demo account just to show you a pure strategy play of what I was able to do over the course of this week. And right now, as you can see on the top of my screen, it's basically end of day August 6th, and the markets don't look like there's anything I'm going to take in it probably tomorrow. So that's why I'm making this now. And the beginning of this week, I was starting off this account. I took a losing trade on Friday. So this account started off at $40,265. And right now, at the time of recording, this account's at $43,371. That's roughly an 8% return for the week over the course of, let's just see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades. So that's pretty good. And as you can see, we went from open the week up, good winner, loser, winner, winner, loser, and a break-even trade. And you can see the losers here is roughly $500. The winners are about $1,500. Here the winners about $1,000. Losers about $500, and the next winner is about $1,500. And then the next one's a break-even. Okay. So let's just start from the beginning, and I want to just show you what I'm looking at, and hopefully that gives you a lot of context to how you should be going through the training, what you should be looking at throughout this course. So we're going to do all this in trading view. We're going to look here and grab the trades, and then we're going to go in trading view because that's where I do my trading, or my charting, I should say. So let's just grab this first one here. And what we can see is this first trade was in the Mexican peso, and you can see it's August 3rd. Okay, so let's just jump into that. And let's take a look at this trade. So I've already scrolled back on this one. Here we are. And this is the 15-minute chart. This is what I was trading off of. And you can see we're on the bottom of the screen. We're on August 3rd. And basically I got in the market on this yellow bar here. So you can see that. And that's where I got in at. And what we'll do is we'll just go to bar replay here, and I'll show you exactly kind of what I was looking at when I got in this. All right, so this is the 15-minute chart, and when I was looking at this, right, the algorithm went off. I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking to myself, this is a pretty stable trend. Let's take a look at the hourly. When I look at the hourly, it was a pretty clear series of higher highs and higher lows, so we knew we were in an uptrend. And then I just jumped up to the daily quickly just to see if there's anything that's going to be in my way. And I could see that there's going to be some sellers here. So we know we got resistance above, so I want to trade to that zone. So what I did is jumped in the market here, and I ran a stop right below the 55 EMA. And this trade here happened overnight. So what we'll do is we'll just go through on bar replay, and we'll just kind of see how this played out. And the 55 EMA is the purple line, by the way. So I ran my stop right below there. I like to give my trades room to work out. And the other thing I liked is that I was entering the market very close to where this had previously rallied. So you could say there's a minor level of support there. Okay, we can just put on our support resistance indicator. And now let's just go through this. So you can see immediately the trade went against me, but I did have my stop below the 55, so it didn't get triggered. And the reason I used the 55 as a stop is just because here, when I was looking previously, I could see that this 21 EMA, that the market kind of came down, and it had a propensity to kind of sell off to the 55, but not push past it. So that's what I was betting on here, and I just grabbed the 55 as my stop loss area there again, just in case it whipped down on me right after I entered. So this trade, as you can see, it kind of went against me, and then it immediately went in the direction, and it kind of stalled out there for a bit. Then it came up and hit the target. So at this point, I'm out of the trade now. At this point, that's that's a great trade right there in my books. Now the next trade, when I was looking at this, I was thinking there's going to be more to grab in this trend, and since it happened overnight, I wasn't monitoring the trade because I was sleeping, and had I been monitoring it, I would have definitely stayed in it. So my thinking was, okay, I'm going to find a way to get back in this market. And if we jump over here to look at the next trade, so the next trade is on the Mexican peso again, and what you can see is this one's a loser, and this one you can see it was August 4th. So let's just jump over here, August 4th. Okay, so I'm just going to let this continue to go. All right, and on August 4th, I attempted to jump in the market. I believe it was right in this area here. I was looking at the same context as before. And what happened was that I ran my stop below the 55 again, but the market immediately sold off, took me out, and from there, you're going to see it again went right in the direction that I was anticipating. However, it went there without me. So that's part of the game. You can get the direction right, and you're going to lose some, and losers are part of the business. So okay, so that's the second trade. That one was the loser, and the one thing you can notice here is right after this, it immediately sold off, and it's been selling off that resistance level that I previously identified ever since. Okay, so the next trade looks like it was gold, and that's on August 5th. So let's just go take a look at gold now. Gold, here we are. And let's go back to August 5th. All right, here we are on gold. So this is the trade here. You can see where the yellow bar is. So the alert went off there, and what I'll do is I'll just go back to bar replay so you can see what I'm looking at. So here's what the market looks like here. We're in gold, and this is the trade I took. So when I jumped up again to the higher time frame, I look at the daily. Gold's rallying. It's in a strong uptrend. I want to be part of that trend, and I know we're making new highs, so there's really nothing to look to the left for. And when I look at the 1 hour, it starts to look like a parabolic move with a very strong sell-off. But at this point, I'm thinking, this is a strong trend. It needs a pullback to go higher, because there really isn't a pullback in this at all. And when I jump down to the 15-minute, if TradingView will let us jump down to the 15-minute, there we go. So when I jump down to the 15-minute, I look to the left, and I notice that we just got the moving average crossed. This is our first pullback, first signal since the moving average is crossed. Strong uptrend, and when I scroll to the left here, we just broke out of this area on the 1 hour. I'll show you what I mean here. So you can see these resistance levels, like it consolidated for a while, and then we just broke out. So I want to play a continuation of that breakout. And previous trends, they held on the 1 hour against the 21 EMA. You can see that's just a beautiful trend. So looking at this, I didn't really expect it to get below the 21 EMA on the 1 hour. Meaning the 55 is probably going to offer good enough support. So I took the trade, and I took it right here on the 15-minute on the next bar. There we go. And I ran my stop right below the 55 EMA. And then this trade, this was another overnight trade. These things seem to like to set up this week at night before I go to bed. And we'll just see how this plays out. And we got a nice move in gold. So I was just targeting 3 times my risk, so that put me right up here, right around these highs. And and that worked out for a great 2-to-1 risk to reward. So that was the gold trade. Now I'm just gonna exit the bar replay. Okay, and let's take a look at the next one. It was a loser, and this was on Australian. Oh, so here's a loser, AUD JPY. So let's just grab that chart here. AUD JPY. And this was on August 5th at night. Short in the morning. Okay, let's take a look at this. Let's go back here to August 5th. Here we are. August 5th. I just want to find my accurate entry here. So, all right. So it looks like I got taken out of the market. Stop loss, buy trade, AUD JPY, 76, call it 76.20 on August 5th, 76.20. Here we are, 76.20. Okay. So I was trying to buy this trend, and we're gonna go take a look at this on bar replay again. So this is the entry bar right here. And what I was looking at on this trade is, when I just looked at the higher time frame, looked like we were going to be coming into some resistance here, but this was holding nice and stable on the daily, with a rejection off these highs of this candle. So I was thinking there's a good chance that'll get bid back up. Just everything's just been so nice and stable on the daily. And on the 1 hour, we went a bit parabolic here at the end with the sell-off. So I'm thinking if I get in now, next place is probably going to be this resistance level right here if I get kicked out. And it was holding nicely against the 21 EMA, and the 55 on the 1 hour was holding the higher time frame as support pretty good too. You can see this rejection off it, you can see another rejection. So then when I jumped down to the 15, same thing, nice and stable above that 21 EMA. So I jumped in this trade somewhere in here, around a stop below the 55, and that trade was a loser. So if we just let this play out, you can see basically sold off against me immediately. So I was wrong, and I was wrong fast. I like those trades where you're wrong fast instead of wrong slowly, where the market just does a death grind against you. Nobody likes that slow death grind. So that was that trade. That was a loser, and the market pretty much did go down to, if we look at that 1 hour. So it went up just past that support level and then shot back up, right? So this is that same level we were looking at before, boom. And it did go just past it to this lower level of support and got bid back up. So I wasn't part of this. I decided I was wrong on this, so I was going to find some better opportunities. So let's take a look at the next trade now. The next trade here is the pound dollar, August 6th. That was this morning. So let's go take a look at what happened this morning. Pound dollar, and just minimize that. Let's jump down to the 15-minute. Here we are, August 6th. Yeah, so on this trade here, let's just see when I entered this. Buy trade at 31.34 roughly. Okay. And then I was out at 31.71. So 31.34. I got in the market right about here. On on this bar, and the market just, it bid up, and the same thing I was looking at on this trade, and you can see the take profit, my target 31.71. I got out right about there. And with this trade, when I was looking at it, let's just go bar replay again, and let's just grab this stuff. So on the 1 hour is where we'll look to the higher time frame. I just seen it was making some new highs here, so there's a good chance it can shoot for these previous highs. Like, this was a pretty decent trend with a deep pullback, so thought there was a good chance that it's going to try and shoot towards these previous highs again. And when looking at the daily, there was good resistance right around here. So I knew it didn't have too far to run before we ran into sellers. And when I jumped down to 15, this is a real key right here. Let me just shut this off. These moving averages came together. This is known as kind of a moving average squeeze. And I just know that most time when that happens, the market's going to try to take off from there. Plus, we just put a second rejection in off this 55 EMA. And previously, you can see the market kind of went below the 55 and then broke above it. And here it rejected off the 55, rejected off the 55, rejected off the 55, rejected off, it's got a pretty good habit of that. So I thought it was probably a good time to get in, and I ran a stop just below these lows. And that trade worked out nicely. You can't beat it when the trade goes pretty much immediately in your direction. So that was the pound dollar. Now, let's go take a look at the next one here, which is a break even. This is a gold trade. So right here, gold, let's take a look what I was looking at. We're back to gold, and hey, here we are on gold. So on this trade here, I'm just going to zoom in so you can see it. So this was the alert that I got. So my entry bar was here on this one. And I'm just going to put this on bar replay again so we can see. Okay. So here's what I was looking at on this trade. I actually believe I entered on this bar here. So I'm looking at this, and this is just a continuation of this move from earlier that we looked at, where gold's pretty much just in a crazy strong uptrend, right? And you can see it just rejected off the 21 EMA. So I thought I'm just going to get in on this. And the dailies, it's going straight up. And when I was looking at this, I said, okay, I'm going to run my stop loss right below these lows here, and try and get in on this trade. But what happened was the market kind of went in my direction here, and I got a bit defensive on it, and I moved my stop loss to break even. And then, as you can see, it took me out on one of these, on the pullbacks. So we got a push above. I got in here, and these wicks took me out of the market. So that's it. And it went off kind of without me, and that move's still happening. Now, this is really key here. It's about trying to pick the better trades, because one thing I could have done better on this one was that I could have looked at silver. And at the same time that was happening, silver had just set up. Now, look at the move in silver compared to that in gold, right? Gold basically just went sideways. Silver took off. Had I taken the silver trade, that would have been a winning trade. Both the setups are similar. If we look at silver, I mean, it's going straight up, right? This is a nice, strong, stable trend, something I like to be in. But I took the gold trade, and the silver is what ended up moving. So that's going to happen, and we only find out this stuff in hindsight and try and improve our performance going forward. So one of the keys to looking at this chart here and picking silver over gold for the trade is when looking at these setups, right? If we go back to gold, just look at how deep this sell-off was, and compared to silver, right? That's just a much smaller leg before this next alert. So there's not as many sellers present. Plus, we have a couple bars of selling, and then we have some buyers. And we have a couple bars of selling, and then buyers step in again. Whereas gold, I mean, it's similar. It's similar. It's just everything is just much deeper. So that's one of the signs that could have been looking at to make that a better trade. So that's the thing, when you're trading, you're always looking to see where you can learn from, where you can optimize next, because something like this over time makes a big difference on performance. I mean, had I taken this trade and I ended up being profitable for another $1,500, I mean, that would have added another 3% to the account. Yeah, another 3% to the account. So instead of 8% on the week, would have been looking at 11%. So those are the differences, the subtle differences that we need to pay attention to. The markets are, you need to make sure you're analyzing them to the best of your ability, because whenever you stop and you're not actively analyzing, the market will take your money. That's from my experience. So I think this video is long enough. I'm going to leave it here. So hopefully that shows you some trade types that I like, and going through this training, you're going to learn all about exactly how I'm looking at this stuff. So make sure you watch it, and after you watch the video, make sure you practice it. So it's really important that you get actual chart time to make sense of this. So hopefully that helps, and if you have any questions, put it in the comments below.